And finally, in this part, I want to show you my books by J.Becket-Griffith. And she's definitely one of my favorite artists. You know, you can take away all my other books and I will be pretty happy to color only in the books by just mine. I do love her art. I do love that many of the pictures they made with a little bit of humor. Many of them they have connection to the famous paintings or some stories, so it's quite easy to find initial point from which I can select my own colors. The style of her girl faces, it also gives me excuse in not doing very complicated shading, especially around the nose, which is always difficult for me. You can simply do shading around eyes just like Jasmine did and you will be quite happy with the final result. And I'm totally in love with the quality of these books. I love everything Blue Angel Publishing creates. And this series is definitely my gemstones. Finally, I gathered all 4 books by Jasmine, but this one, it was my first, and of course here I have biggest amount of finished pictures. Maybe I wanted to do this one, so that's why I have the bookmark. And we will start here. My favorite medium here is definitely Prismacolor pencils. I absolutely adore how they blend on this paper. They are extremely creamy by themselves and on this paper they feel even creamier. Never you will have bad blending or big visible pencil strokes. I absolutely love to use them, even for the backgrounds. I never had some problems with covering the background with pencils, so I tested here on this paper several other brands, Polychromos and Arteza and even Color Salts, but of course nothing can compare in my opinion to Prismacolors. You can use even watercolor, but still, if I enjoy Prismacolors, then definitely I intend to use them more. Maybe only in the Mermaid book, where you need to do a lot of water, I plan to use a little bit of watercolor, but the rest definitely Prismas. When I color, I try not to look at reference pictures by Jasmine. I know that I love her original paintings so much that I definitely will want to copy her colors, and I want colorings to be my own creation. So when I start to color, I try not to look at the original paintings. Or sometimes I use the trick that I do look at other paintings and I can use some of her ideas, because you know that I am not good at some fantasy things. For me to do even unusual hair color, it's a little bit challenging. So I take some inspiration from her paintings, just not the same one. Other angel, other pictures, her girls, they are pretty the same. So you can take any color combo you like from her paintings and to use everywhere. Anyway, I do love this paisley, and I think that the prettiest thing here is her hair with tiny pink flowers and also her wings, where I added a little bit of this bright purple color to make connection with the color of her dress. I do love this one. I tried to make her skin slightly darker, so I hope that she looks like a girl from India. Another one also was very interesting to color when I read this short story, and it's very helpful that we have these stories which tells us a little bit about characters and what Jasmine herself thought about the initial idea of the painting. So it was a story of the girl which is during the day is living in Venice, but during the nighttime she is the queen of bats. And that's how I decided to color it, to show this transformation. I added the traditional Venetian gondola, at least part of it, what I was able to put here, I added very famous nose of the gondola board and traditional red and white stripe thing to park the gondola. Sorry guys, sometimes it's so difficult to explain, especially after the long day at work. And so here I try to indicate that we are in Venice. And part of the girl, I tried to dress like beautiful Venice lady with their very rich dresses. So she has this rich red violet with golden ornaments and with lace. Here I added this lace on her dress. I also added the hair, on her hair, this jewelry, because I needed some more elements which I can divide into two parts, like I divided her mask. And on the right side I added much more darker colors. I used a lot of black to show that she is slowly turning into Queen of Night, Queen of Bats. I think that idea is pretty good. Her wings are also different. This one is like vampire or maybe bat's wing, and this one match her beautiful velvet dress. So it was quite fun to invent this story and then try to put it on paper. My next finished page here, it was made for Halloween. She is called Alena, and here I also added some details from myself. First of all, of course, I tried to maintain the warm color palette traditional for the fall pictures, so I used a lot of orange, a lot of golden colors, warm browns, and even olive green and the reddish color for the sky. Then I decided to add a little bit of ornament from feathers on her dress and to add feathers to her mask to show that they are connected with her bird animal with the owl, and they have similar color of the eyes. Maybe I had to mask slightly better those black lines on the pumpkins, but anyway, I love how I did it, and even similar details on their heads, on her hair and the feathers of the owl. Honestly, I do love everything I did here. I am quite happy when I color here, and I am quite happy with the results which I got. So that's definitely one of my most successful coloring books, and I always enjoy to look at my finished pictures and try to plan what will be my next project. It was one of my first projects here, probably the first if I remember correctly. And of course, my first inspiration was beautiful picture by Peter Hewitt. From Peter I learned about J.Becket-Griffith, so I was interested in her coloring books. Then I was fortunate to purchase the first one, so I did picture similar to the Peter did this one, and I decided that this one will be my first choice. Here I am quite proud of the moon. I think that it looks at least not flat, and I'm glad that I added a little bit of orange undertone to the moon. I also wanted to create this Halloween atmosphere, slightly sinister, and I think that her wings, they also look not bad. Of course I used white acrylic, but I also added a little bit of grey lavender here to make color more interesting. Inner part is more tender with slightly bluish and lavender undertone to the feathers, and the outer along the feathers, they are more grey. Next, I also appreciate that in these books we have some smaller pictures, so if you're not ready for the full page project, you can do something smaller. And here again I used Prismacolors, but here also I used some metal watercolors, so the organ made it, she's slightly shining because of this uh, golden watercolor. And here I think that these dragon links, they are also quite adorable. I wanted from the very beginning to try this, how to call it, maybe magenta or wine red background, and to use much more tender and pastel colors for the dragon links. I wish I had this one in full size. Oh, next I have my Pirate Polly, and it was so fun to do her hair, and it's quite popular. I know that many people praised this page because of the unusual hair color, and as I said, it was quite fun. Here I did the background, the sky and the ocean waves, everything with Prismacolors with small addition of white Posca for the form. I wasn't sure what to do with the board, then I tried to color it as some kind of tattoo, and I deliberately decided to make her clothes in quite a limited color palette. Maybe it's made from leather with small addition of red, but of course here the focal point is her beautiful hairstyle, amazingly drawn by J.Becket-Griffith. Here I have this mini picture, but still I love it because I always think that color combo of violet and orange or violet and gold, it's always successful. So that's what I did here. Similar violet colors for the background and for hair, but different in intensity. Pastel here and much more intense on her hair. And all those golden reflections and highlights similar on her wings, on the butterfly, and a little bit of gold I also added on her hair, so it looks quite nice. I think that I will leave you in the end of the video a link to this coloring because I really love it. Another one I did because I totally fall in love for her face. I think that she's very tender here. I do love her, how she folded her hands, how she has her hair over her shoulders, and her eyes, they are absolutely adorable. And just like on the original painting by Jasmine, of course I used a lot of green color because it's absinthe butterflies, so selection of green, it was quite obvious to make the idea of absinthe, but for the background I tried to slightly change colors, and I do love that background is dark, but you still can find some details like the tree behind and the slightly lighter spot somewhere behind, so it's not boring, even if I still tried to use a lot of dark color to create nice contrast to the light color of her hair. And on her hair I also did a little bit of greenish tint to add some reflections from the wings, so they also are not as flat as you can see on the screen. Unfortunately, when you film under electric light, all those delicate tones, when you do very fair skin tone or when you have very delicate pastel colors for shading, sometimes they can be lost and it's a pity. But of course I have all these pictures on my Instagram when I took pictures during normal daylight, so they are in much better quality. Of course it was another one of Halloween colorings, and if you want to purchase just one book by J.Becket-Griffith, purchase this one. Even if my favorite is Halloween, still in this one there is the biggest variety of pictures. There are some Halloween pictures, there are some more angels, devils, fairies, so the biggest variety. You will be able to color it through the whole year and to find something appropriate. Here I tried to show some magic. My girl, she is reading the spell and she has her magical wand. I hope that you can see this greenish and golden sparkles which I added from the wand, and she tried to add to revive maybe her skeleton friends. I tried to show it by adding green sparkles here and green light inside their skulls. And when I colored it, I saw so many similar pictures. It was crazy popular at that moment. Everyone colored it, so it was difficult for me to select which colors I want to use for her dress and hat. In the end, I stopped on this magenta and purple, and I think that together with the skeletons, she looks quite nice, at least original. Another pair of tiny colorings. Here I can say that I'm 100% happy with the pale Medusa, but I wanted to do this green-gray color for her skin and I tried it. Not so bad. On her hair, I decided that instead of just one color for the snakes, I divided them into two color groups. The only thing I'm not very happy is the background. Maybe with just black background it would be more striking contrast. I don't know why I added those small bubbles using pearlish, white pearl and golden shiny watercolors. This one I have mixed feelings. The picture is a little bit, how to say, it's not very pleasant because we can see that the rose, she started to be sick and she gathered the, sorry, you can see this green thing. I forgot how to call it. I feel sometimes so stupid. Anyway, I try to show that rose has all fresh petals apart from one which has started to be sick, but I hope that the girl will help the rose and it will be nice and fresh again. Again, you can see that I tried to use a very limited color palette even for the rose and the sky. Probably sky here is my favorite part, and because of such a good blending of Prismacolors, it was quite easy to do it just by varying pressure on the pencil and blending them all with light colors and with white. I also will leave you a link to this coloring on my YouTube channel because many of these pictures I did for Patreon, so maybe they exist as a speed coloring, but this one I posted on YouTube and I did tutorial how I did the background and how I did all those metal parts. You can see that they are in slightly different color, more like bronze and more like old gold, so I hope that this tutorial will be helpful for you if you want to color this page or maybe to use it for some other pictures. I do love this Alice. I think that here she has quite good fashion expression. She is determined, she is a little bit maybe pissed. So she is definitely ready for some adventures. Very nice, very active girl, and that's why I probably love this page. Well, this one was challenging. I remember that everything went quite well until I did the frogs. Probably I do love everything here apart from the color of the frogs, which were very similar in color to the leaves behind, so they are nice, they are important element of the page, but because of the green color which I selected, they are slightly lost because of the leaves. At least butterflies, they help me to make some colorful accents here. I think that on the paintings by Jasmine, frogs were blue and it was much better decision, but as I said, I try not to copy, so sometimes I also do some color mistakes. And finally I have this Flora, and definitely it's one of my favorite pictures here. Again, colors are not similar to the paintings of Jasmine, and I had a lot of fun. Of course, as she is Flora, queen of everything which is blooming, which all plants, I decided to use green as the main color for her dress, and everything else I selected starting from this point of the pastel green background and much more intense green for her dress. I think that with violet hair she looks quite bright, and to select all the color combos for the flowers, for the fruits, it was quite nice. I still remember that I enjoyed each and every flower, each and every grape when I colored it, so a lot of sweet moments. And I also have pictures in two other books. In Mermaids, I have just one page. And when I selected where to start, I decided to start from the beginning. So I have this soft shell mermaid, and if she's soft, I decided to use for her hair this very delicate cream and pink colors. So that was my starting point. Also, I knew that I want to do this coral in salmon pink and more intense raspberry colors. Then I needed some nice contrast, so that's why she has chocolate background and this turquoise blue on her dress and for her eyes. Well, this page initially was a little bit messy because on the paintings by Jasmine there are a lot of creatures and other things like corals, shells, so it was a little bit difficult to color all of them, to find all of them, but I think that I managed, and at least I have one finished project here. Of course I want to color more, but you know, this usual problem with time. And I'm very happy that during this October I colored in Halloween, which, as I said, is my favorite book by Jasmine. I absolutely love everything here, but now I did just one big page and she is called Wolf Countess. I really love the strong contrast between a very boring and quite simple background. I simply did this grey marble with small addition of light green reflections here and there to make it less boring. Of course, I tried to work quite carefully on all the shading on the marble parts, here on the stairs, on the wall behind, so I hope that structure of the stairs I managed to show it. And then she has this dress in fall colors. I selected rich wine red, maybe it's made from a velvet, and then some autumn colors, all those gold and orange for the lace, for the decoration here, and I also repeated it on her hair to make a good connection. I think that she is slightly differently drawn comparing to the girls angels in the first book. She is more prettier in my opinion, so I really wanted to make her beautiful. And then I have this wolf. It was challenging to color it because the same cool grey went for the marble and for the wolf. That's why I decided to make fur more brown grey, and indeed it helped, together with some white paint for the lighter areas on the fur. I think that brown helped to attract more attention to the wolf. And then I did the full page of 4 miniature pictures because I was asked to use Arteza on this paper. In the very beginning I was a little bit hesitant, but in the end I managed to do this page with Arteza. Any problems at all, and again they also blended quite well. The only thing, they created some waxy shining which was visible during filming, but in real life it's totally not a problem. And I think that it's possible to color with Arteza. It's just my own preference to use Prismacolors, mostly because I love to use here both strong dark and very pastel colors, and the best selection of such colors is in Prismacolor set. This one I did with polychromos pencils, and I do love the blue dragon here. This one I started from some Derwent color softs. I think that you definitely can recognize loganberry, cranberry and blackberry colors if you own color softs, those colors are probably the most beautiful in the whole set. And then I continued with prismas, with clay rose, great lavender. Anyway, if you want, all these pictures are made in this October, were made in this October, so you can color together with me. And this one, I didn't want to do it at all. It's a little bit creepy with the eye on her hand. But in the end, I thought that, well, no, to have 3 finished pictures and 1 remaining, no, you need to do it. And I think that I managed to do something nice. I deliberately tried to stay in the black golden palette mostly, so I have black and golden wings. They are shiny because I added golden gel pen, golden Posca here. And I decided that if this eye have to be in different color, I think that together they look nice, golden and blue, I will maintain this color, support this color by adding it also a little bit to the background. So it was quite easy after I did this color planning. Then I quickly colored it, and her skin is also a little bit more yellowish. I hope to add more golden shining to her skin comparing to other girls here which simply have a very fair skin tone. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video because in this video I shown some of my favorite artists, some of my favorite books, and of course I will leave you links of some of this video in the end of the video, and all pictures you can try to find in playlists on my channel. When you have a story of 5 years of coloring, sometimes you can't remember when you did something, but it's good to have videos that you can always consult which colors you use, so it's even helpful for myself to return to some of my videos. Thank you for watching, and until the next part of my long story and my long coloring book collection.